Your land's a blight! Pay up!
This deed says otherwise.
Picture this. You're sipping your morning coffee, standing on the porch of the home you've built with your own hands, when a woman in designer yoga pants storms up your driveway, flanked by two nervous lackeys, and slaps a $4,000 bill in your hand. She claims your property owned for decades is tanking her neighborhood's value. The catch? You're not even part of her homeowners association. That's the fight I found myself in, and it's a story of standing your ground, uncovering corruption, and discovering what community means. Buckle up, because this tale of suburban tyranny and justice is one you won't forget. My name's Tom Bennett, a retired electrician living on 2.3 acres of Colorado land I bought in 1987 for $4.47, every cent I had. Over 15 years, I built my dream, a modest off-grid cabin with solar panels, a workshop for renewable energy projects, and vegetable gardens that could feed half the county. My wife, Laura, loved this place. We'd sit on the porch every evening, the wind whispering through the prairie grass, dreaming up additions we'd never built. Cancer took her 2 years ago, and now it's just me and Bolt, my rescue dog named after my old trade, keeping her memory alive on this land we shaped together. My property sits on the original county road, once surrounded by empty prairie. 5 years ago, a California developer turned our valley into Crestwood Estates' 400 pristine homes, manicured lawns, artificial ponds, and residents paying up to $800,000 to live next to my eyesore. County records prove my land was excluded from all development agreements. The original surveyor marked my boundaries with exempt flags. I've got photos, permits, and a 35-year paper trail. But nobody told Susan Mitchell. Susan, 47, a real estate agent turned HOA president, moved here from Orange County 2 years ago, right as I was grieving Laura. She drives a gleaming white BMW, allergic to dirt roads, with 3 kids in private school and a husband running dental practices. Her entitlement comes from never hearing no. She measures neighbors' grass with rulers, and once filed a complaint over a garbage can left out 47 minutes past pickup. Her floral perfume could choke a horse. Our first meeting seemed innocent, sweet smile, friendly wave. Hi, I'm Susan from the Homeowners Association, doing a neighborhood survey on property improvements. 3 days later, she returned with her Covenant Compliance Committee, 2 jittery guys in polo shirts looking like hostages. Her heels clicked across my gravel driveway like gunfire. Your solar panels are reducing adjacent property values by $50,000 per unit, she declared, waving a binder of rules. You have 30 days to comply or face $100 daily fines. I pulled out my 1987 deed, showing a clear exemption from future HOAs. She barely glanced at it through her oversized sunglasses. Legal loopholes won't save you. This is about community standards. Ma'am, I said, keeping my voice calm, the way Laura taught me during her treatments. My land predates your HOA by 32 years. I'm not part of it. Her smile turned cold. We'll see about that. The crunch of gravel under her designer heels sounded like a timer ticking down as she strutted to her BMW. The next morning confirmed my instincts. I woke to voices and measuring tapes. 3 HOA contractors were photographing my fence, documenting boundary discrepancies. What are you doing on my land? I asked. They shrugged. Susan sent us to log violations. Violations on property older than their neighborhood. This wasn't about aesthetics, it was about power. Susan Mitchell had picked the wrong widower to bully. Laura always said I was too stubborn for my good. Time to prove her right. 2 weeks later, my mailbox became her battleground. A county complaint claimed my property violated new residential zoning, laughable, since agricultural zoning doesn't vanish because McMansions sprout nearby. Then came an HOA letter on fancy letterhead, demanding $500 monthly dues, retroactive to 2019 $2,000, for an HOA I never joined. Susan rallied a petition about safety concerns over my workshop, claiming my solar batteries could explode and my tools caused noise pollution. She'd never heard a real construction site at 7 a.m. On Facebook, she posted about our non-compliant resident endangering property values, twisting photos of my tidy workshop into a junkyard. 63 strangers demanded action against my eyesore. Betrayal stung as I read the comments with my coffee. I dove into county records, learning more property law than any retired electrician should. That's when I found Susan's secret. Her real estate license had 2 prior violations for misrepresenting boundaries. Laura always said patterns show character, and Susan's was clear. A union buddy tipped me off about liability insurance. The HOA's policy excluded disputes with non-member properties. A Freedom of Information Act request revealed Susan's husband's dental practice owed $127,000 in back taxes. No wonder she was shaking down neighbors. She'd underestimated a guy who'd spent decades fixing problems others couldn't. I installed security cameras, night vision, cloud backup, motion alerts. They caught Susan's safety patrol trespassing, photographing my workshop windows, and testing gate latches. The irony was rich. The woman calling me a threat was committing crimes on my land. While researching for a police report, I struck gold. Susan's HOA incorporation documents omitted my parcel. A lazy lawyer used boilerplate language without checking survey maps. Legally, she had no authority over my land. Less than bolt, frankly. The local newspaper ran my story after I sent Susan's Facebook screenshots with my deed. Rural resident fights, HOA overreach, hit the Mountain Valley Tribune's front page, making my dispute community entertainment. Susan demanded a retraction, threatening to pull her real estate ads. The editor published her complaint next to 3 letters supporting me. Power shifted. Mrs. Carter, a neighbor, brought cookies and questions about solar panels, harassed by Susan over her garden's aesthetic violations. 3 more neighbors shared similar stories. Susan's tyranny targeted veterans, teachers, and anyone who didn't fit her suburban vision. Susan struck back hard. 3 days after the article, a process server delivered a lawsuit from Peterson and Associates, claiming my property was a nuisance and health hazard, tanking property values. 27 pages demanded I remove my solar panels, demolish my workshop, and pay $35,000. Susan's safety patrol, she and 3 bored housewives with clipboards photographed my mailbox and solar array daily, building an evidence file. She filed a county complaint, claiming my 1992 workshop violated modern codes, ignoring its legal permits. Time for backup. My union buddy, Mike, connected me with Robert Hayes, a retired municipal lawyer who'd fought these battles for 30 years. Robert laughed at my case. Sloppiest legal work I've seen in decades. My permits were valid, grandfathered under state law. HOAs can't retroactively impose standards. Robert didn't just defend. He countersued for harassment, defamation, and emotional distress. He found the HOA never owned its common areas, making it a paper tiger. My cameras sealed the deal, showing Susan's team trespassing. The newspaper ran another front-page story. HOA president caught trespassing, with my camera screenshots. The neighborhood forum split Team Tom, me, versus Team Susan, mostly California transplants who loved rules. County Supervisor Daniels, a lifelong Coloradon, told the paper, "I've known Tom for 20 years. Susan Mitchell's drama won't fly here." Susan's real estate clients questioned her legal troubles, crashing her sales. 3 more residents reported their harassment to Robert. The original developer, John Larson, called, embarrassed. "Tom, I excluded your property from all HOA agreements." He faxed survey maps and exclusion agreements proving it. Susan's lawyers went silent. Her desperation peaked with a $15,000 emergency assessment for fake environmental hazards, threatening liens, and foreclosure. Then came a sheriff's call about my threatening behavior in a grocery store lot. Pure lies. My footage cleared me, and the deputy warned Susan about felony false reports. Susan boycotted businesses supporting me, like Jim's hardware store. Jim laughed her off. "Tom's been my customer for 30 years. You've been here 2 minutes." She tried cutting my utilities, unaware I'm off-grid. My support grew. Neighbors, a retired judge, and the county assessor backed me. A Reddit post about my case went viral, drawing property rights activists. Susan's license faced investigation. Her husband's tax liens hit the news. Her HOA board crumbled as members resigned, citing her aggressive tactics. At an emergency HOA meeting, Susan ranted about my threat to safety. Half the room walked out. The neighborhood Facebook group banned her for harassment. A Denver Channel 7 journalist, Sarah Torres, interviewed me about HOA abuse. Susan's world was crumbling. She was isolated, investigated, and out of options. Retired Judge William Foster dropped a bombshell. Crestwood Estates sat on land with unresolved 1878 Arapaho Nation treaty claims, clouding its legal foundation. My property was excluded due to these issues. The HOA's financial records showed $230,000 in legal and consulting fees, including $85,000 to Susan's firm for non-existent work. 3 incorporation document signatures were forged. The state attorney general was probing similar HOA fraud statewide. Susan's law firm bailed, citing ethical conflicts. My workshop became mission control. William brought constitutional law expertise. Sarah, public records, and a nose for corruption. Daniel Whitefeather, a tribal advocate, mapped treaty claims. Mike upgraded my security with military-grade cameras. We filed motions to dismiss Susan's claims, countersued for malicious prosecution, and prepared federal civil rights and treaty violation cases. Sarah uncovered $127,000 in embezzled HOA funds, fake invoices, and loans to Susan's failing business. We organized evidence like a military operation: Timolines, financial forensics, trespassing footage. A crowdfunding campaign raised $75,000 in a week. Neighbors met at Murphy's Diner, planning HOA accountability. My toolkit: audit finances, demand legal proof, document harassment. Went viral after Sarah's news series. Susan's desperation turned criminal. Her private investigator faced mail theft charges after my cameras caught him. She tried bribing a county inspector with $5,000 to condemn my solar system caught on hidden camera. Her concerned citizens' protest flopped. 7 people, including her family, faced 43 of my supporters. Her ethics complaint against Robert was dismissed as retaliatory, triggering a bar investigation into her false filings. National media called my fight a stand against HOA tyranny. Susan's TV interview was a disaster. She lied about forged signatures and bribery, sweating under studio lights. Susan lies trended for 3 days. My crowdfunding hit $150,000. Her license was revoked, her husband filed for divorce, and her HOA lost insurance coverage. Susan's final moves were wild. She tried committing me for erratic behavior, claiming I stockpiled weapons. A court psychologist called her petition a vendetta, finding me resilient. Her EPA complaint about my hazardous, property backfired. Me setup was a sustainability model. She pushed for eminent domain, claiming my land was blighted. The county attorney laughed it off. A sheriff's deputy dismissed her extremist accusations as felony false reporting. Robert's 847-page evidence package included $312,000 in embezzled funds, forged documents, and trespassing footage. Daniel's treaty research threatened every deed in Crestwood. Community support surged. Businesses hung, "We support Tom" banners. Churches held vigils, and veterans honored me. The HOA ousted Susan, and her house was foreclosed. Her husband's divorce filing exposed her forging his signature, sealing her conspiracy charges. The courtroom was electric. Reporters, activists, neighbors packed in. Susan arrived late, haggard, with a rookie lawyer who fumbled her case. Judge Harrison, a 30-year veteran, demanded proof of HOA authority. They had none. Robert's presentation was surgical deeds, survey maps, trespassing videos, and financial fraud evidence. Daniel testified about treaty violations. Susan's outburst, "He's ruining our community," earned a warning from Harrison. Her composure shattered as bribery and forgery evidence piled up. Ms. Mitchell, Harrison said, "This is the worst HOA overreach I've seen in 30 years. Mr. Bennett's property was never under HOA authority. The incorporation documents are forged. The financial records show embezzlement. He ruled that Crestwood HOA had no standing, dissolved it for criminal activity, and awarded me $127,000 for malicious prosecution, referring the case to federal authorities." The courtroom cheered as Susan was escorted out, ranting about property rights terrorists. 6 months later, Susan got 18 months in federal prison for embezzlement, fraud, and conspiracy, ordered to pay $427,000 she couldn't afford. She lost her home, family, and career, now working retail in another state under a new name. Crestwood became a voluntary neighborhood association. No fees, no tyranny, just community. My property graced solar energy today as a sustainability model. The Rural Property Defense Fund, chaired by William, helped 12 families win similar cases. Colorado's Tom's Law imposed penalties for false HOA claims and embezzlement. My YouTube channel, Off-Grid Tom's Property Protection, hit 300,000 subscribers, sharing advice on fighting neighborhood tyrants. Lincoln Elementary partnered with me for a renewable energy center, fulfilling Laura's dream. Kids visit weekly, their laughter replacing grief. A property rights festival drew 4,000 people, boosting local businesses and funding scholarships. Former HOA ponds became a community garden and wildlife preserve. Voluntary cooperation outdid Susan's forced compliance. Standing on my porch, watching kids from old HOA homes play with Valley families, I felt Laura's wisdom. Fighting for what's right makes you worthy of what you protect. Bolt, now Instagram famous with 40,000 followers, shows that rural values build real community. A Texas veteran visited for HOA advice. A Native American family sought help protecting their sacred garden. The fight continues, but so does the community standing for justice. What's your take on this tale of bullying and injustice? Have you faced a Susan in your life? Share your story in the comments. Did you fight back, or did the system fail you? Let's debate. When does standing your ground become vengeance? And how should communities balance order with freedom? Your voice matters. Drop your thoughts below and keep this conversation alive.